The SeaWorld chain is building more roller coasters than any other park chain in America right now, and it looks like they may be adding another new roller coaster to Busch Gardens Williamsburg in 2024. Here are my predictions on what that coaster could be. We already know about Project Dark Coaster, an Intamin family launch coaster going in the old Curse of Dark Castle building, so I'm not talking about that. I'm referring to the alleged rumors of a new hypercoaster coming in 2024. As many of you probably know, Busch Gardens was planning to add a Giga shuttle coaster known as Project Drakenspear prior to COVID, but we have not heard anything about this project since. It's possible this project could have morphed into what Pantheon is today, or the project could be scrapped or postponed, we really don't know. But what we do know is that Busch Gardens Williamsburg submitted a height waiver for a structure that is 220 feet tall, in the same area where Project Drakenspear was supposed to be. This project will likely utilize a coaster that uses the same station that was designated for Project Drakenspear. The BGW fans website has great up-to-date information on all of this, so I'll be sure to link that in the description so you can check out the website for yourself. My predictions in this video will be based on the assumption that the 220-foot structure height will be for a roller coaster. Now let's get into my top 5 predictions. Number 5, a Coma or S&S Hyper. I'm going to lump these two together just because I think they're both possible but equally unlikely. Vekoma has never built a hyper roller coaster before. Their current tallest ones are the 4 giant inverted boomerang models, but apparently they almost got the Hyperion project at Energylandia, but they ended up going with Intamin for it instead. S&S has built a custom hyper roller coaster that you may have heard of, Steel Curtain at Kennywood. Funny enough, it is exactly 220 feet tall, matching the structure height for this project. But it isn't a secret that Steel Curtain has been a reliability and capacity nightmare for Kennywood. In my opinion, this likely dooms the chances of any park, in the US at least, buying an S&S Hyper for some time. Combining the reliability issues of Steel Curtain, Vekoma having never built a hyper model yet, and the fact that the SeaWorld chain hasn't worked with S&S or Vekoma makes me give either of these options a very slim chance, maybe a generous 5%. Number 4, a B&M wing coaster. Busch Gardens Williamsburg has almost every major B&M model already. They have a dive coaster in Griffin, the first B&M hyper coaster in Apollo's Chariot, and a massive invert in Alpengeist. So, what if they build the tallest, fastest B&M wing coaster? Now, there have been rumors in the past of King's Dominion getting a wing coaster to replace Volcano, but what if Busch Gardens Williamsburg beats them to it? They could market this as the first wing coaster on the East Coast, the next closest one being Wild Eagle at Dollywood, over 7.5 hours away. It doesn't seem like a bad idea to me. However, I would like to see something different here. I still don't think this pick is super likely, so I'll give it about a 15% chance to occur. A quick side note, Busch Gardens Williamsburg also doesn't have a flying coaster, which is a popular B&M model, but I highly doubt it would be this one because a 220-foot tall B&M flyer would be absolutely bonkers. It would be insane and I would love it, but most of these models are in the mid to low 100-foot range in height or drop, so there's almost no chance that this is a B&M flyer. For the number 3 pick, I have a bit of a sleeper pick. I think it could be a Mach Hyper. The SeaWorld chain is no stranger to working with Mach rides. They have added 3 Mach water coasters, all named Journey to Atlantis, to their SeaWorld parks. Busch Gardens Tampa has a Mach Wild Mouse and Sand Serpent, and they have Cobra's Curse, a Mach family spinning coaster. SeaWorld San Diego has Manta, a Mach launch coaster as well, so what if they give Mach a chance to go more extreme and give them this project to make a hyper roller coaster? It would no doubt be a one-of-a-kind roller coaster in North America, as the only Mach hyper roller coasters in the world are in Australia, China, and Turkey. This would make it the only Mach hyper in the Western Hemisphere. Mach hypers appear to be much more creative with their elements, including inversions, unlike a lot of the B&M hypers, and stronger airtime moments. I would definitely say a Mach hyper is the sleeper pick for this project, for sure, and I would give this a 20% chance of occurring. Up at number 2, we have an Intamin hyper. Wouldn't another Intamin hyper in the US be absolutely incredible? SeaWorld also has been heavily working with Intamin, and with Pantheon, their latest Intamin shuttle coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, it seems to have been a great success so far. It is very possible that they could go with Intamin to build a hypercoaster that is different enough from both Pantheon and the other hyper in the park, Apollo's Chariot. They also could have gotten a package discount with Pantheon and this new coaster. It's also worth noting that the Drakenspear project likely would have been built by Intamin, so if this is a spin-off of that project, it's very likely Intamin is still the one working on it. The chance of this project being an Intamin hyper, I will give about 25%. While I think this option is very plausible, there is only one more that I think has an even better chance at being put in this plot of land. And finally, the number one pick of what I think will go in this plot of land is a ground-up RMC Hyper Hybrid. I do not say this to get everybody's hopes up or to get everybody's attention. I legitimately could see this being a ground-up RMC going here. There is plenty of space, and with all the success Busch Gardens Tampa is seeing with Iron Gwazi from the 2022 season, it would not be a surprise to me at all if SeaWorld began moving very quickly to install another RMC iBox Hyper. This time, it would be a ground-up one since Busch Gardens Williamsburg doesn't have an aging rough woody to RMC. If they build a 220-foot ground-up RMC iBox, it could easily be considered a top 5 roller coaster in the world and would make Busch Gardens Williamsburg one of the biggest bucket list parks in America for roller coasters, even more than it already is. This would be a phenomenal move by the park, as it would fit the space well, diversify their coaster lineup a ton, and it would attract far more guests. All of the roller coasters I listed in this video would be a solid addition to the park in my opinion, so I don't think they could go wrong with any of the models I listed here. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is not my home park, and I've only been there one time, so I'm not claiming to know everything, I don't have a crystal ball, so these are just my best guesses, just a prediction, just for fun. Busch Gardens Williamsburg locals probably have a lot more inside information than I do, so feel free to share that information in the comments if you have it. Also, comment down below what type of roller coaster do you think this will be, and what do you want to see here? What do you think happened to Project Drakenspire? Has it been postponed, canceled, or morphed into this current project? I personally think the project was canceled. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, consider giving me a sub for more similar coaster content at least twice a week. I truly appreciate your support. I hope every single one of you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one.